Hi everyone, this is Joy with Create It with Joy. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's project is for Kraftgali, and I have made this really stunning card using the Beautiful Flowers stamp set. This is from Kraftgali's new release. Everything that I have used is listed and linked below in the description and also on my blog. I have used Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers to color these really beautiful flowers. So I am starting with a piece of Bristol Smooth watercolor cardstock, and I have that set in my MISTI. And here is this big, large, beautiful stamp. It has 3 good-sized flowers on it. And I'm going to stamp that down on one side of my cardstock, and then I'm going to flip it around and stamp it again. I am stamping that in Simon Says Stamp black ink because it is watercolor friendly. So I'm adhering that down to my MISTI, getting good pressure, lining my piece of cardstock back up in the center. I kind of kept an eyeball on the grid on where it was lined up. I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to ink it up a couple times to get a really good impression. Also, I think I need to re-ink my stamp pad. So once I get a really good solid black impression, I'm going to flip my card around, line it back up, and I will be stamping the other side, doing exactly the same thing. Pressing that down, getting a really good impression. That makes a whole lot of difference if you've got a good crisp image. All right, let's get going on the coloring. I am using Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. It is like using watercolors. I am not a watercolor person, but I do love these markers. So for the green that I'm using 2 colors of green, light green and green. I think these also could be little flowers, but they look like leaves, but they could be flowers, so I treated them as leaves. I laid down the dark green, and then I came in with the light green. I have a paper towel off to the side. When you are dipping a lighter color into your darker color, it will get on your tip of your marker, and you need to clean that off onto a paper towel. The color I'm using for this flower is violet and lilac, and I'm starting with the violet and coming in with the lilac and pulling it out. Then I'm taking my water brush pen, or you can use a watercolor brush or a paintbrush, adding a little bit of water, dabbing that off, and then pulling that color all the way to the end of the petals of the flowers. This way, for me, I like this look because it gives the darker in the center and it gets lighter as it goes out to the end. You could skip the whole adding water and use 2 or 3 different colors of Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. This color here that I am using is geranium red and pink. I'm adding the darker color to the center, pulling the pink down a little bit, and then bringing in my water brush pen to finish pulling that color out, and you can see the different variation. This third flower is pink and light pink. I'm adding the pink to the center, pulling with the light pink, and then adding the water. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, but I'm not going to show you that until after it's done. Now that that's done, I am coming in with a light blue marker and going around the edge fairly heavy. I want this to have a blue background, but I want it to be darker closer to the flowers. So I'm going on both sides, adding this blue, following around each of the flowers and the leaves. Then I'm going to come in with my water brush marker, my water brush pen, and I'm going to pull that blue color to the center, but as you can see, it's still dark close to the flowers. Once I'm finished doing that, I'm going to come in with a light gray marker, and I'm going to trace right next to all of the flowered images. I'm doing this to give a really kind of a darker shadow underneath the flowers. I probably could have gone even with the next darker gray, and that would have looked great just as well. I'm sorry that my card is a little bit lower in the camera angle. I have moved my craft room, kind of setting up the camera, and realizing as I'm working, I need to move it down a little bit. So that'll be fixed next video. Now that that's done, I am taking the Mega Friend die from Altenew and I'm placing that in the center. I'm going to run that through my die cut machine. I'm just holding that down with some purple tape or using some low tack tape, washi tape, whatever you've got on hand. I'm running that through my Spellbinders Platinum 6 die cut machine. So now you can see that my paper kind of cut at the end, but I'm actually not worried about that because once we put this back together, you're not even going to notice that that is an issue. So I'm just gently pulling the friend die out of there. It pulled a little bit of color off because my image was still a tad bit wet, so I just fixed that with the Zig marker. There is that beautiful friend die. I'm going to adhere this down. This is an A2 size card. I'm going to adhere this down to a white A2 size card base. I am just letting it fall in place, especially because the card is cut on that one side and I don't want it to shift and be funny because when we replace the friend die back in, we need it to all match up perfectly. I am taking some white fun foam and running my friend die through the die cut machine, and I'm going to leave it in the whole piece of fun foam. I have noticed when I take my fun foam out, it kind of stretches and it doesn't go back into place. So I'm leaving it in there while I glue the colored paper on top. So I'm adding some liquid glue to the top part of this friend die on the fun foam. And I'm going to adhere that colored part of the cardstock directly on top. Once that's glued down, I will remove it immediately in case I got any glue on the edges and it doesn't say stay stuck. So once that's adhered down, I will pull that out and then nothing gets stretched out. And you've got this beautiful die cut image that's going to pop up from the card, but it's going to completely blend into the back. When you are die cutting out from the actual paper, keep all your little pieces, your little insert pieces, because you're going to be putting those back in. I will show you what I mean in just a minute. I'm adding some liquid glue to the back, and I'm now just going to pop that back into place, and you can see now you've just got these certain parts that are 3D. Just using my tool-in-one to get everything pushed down, cleaned out any glue that has kind of squished out of the sides. I'm adding the eye, the dot to the eye, adding a little bit of glue to some of the pieces that I did not adhere down on the flat part of the card base. I wanted to make sure that the word friend fit in everywhere it needed to go, and then I knew I could come back in and adhere down little pieces that needed it. I stuck in all the little pieces that, like the centerpiece to the F and to the D, I stuck those little pieces in and glued those down, and now you can see that everything, it looks cohesive. I am prepping underneath the word friend with an anti-static bag. I'm stamping with clear embossing ink, and we're going to use gold embossing powder. And we're stamping the sentiment, "You are beautiful," that comes in the Beautiful Flowers stamp set. I'm going to do this 3 times. This is clear ink and I can't really see my image. I should have been using my gray tinted ink from Ranger ink that they have, and that's really wonderful, and I'm not sure why I didn't use that. But I made sure to put good pressure because the word friend is popped up, and so I made sure to get good adhesion between the stamp and the paper. Making sure that my heat tool is nice and hot before I take it to the paper, and everything melted beautifully. I'm going to finish off the card using some Studio Katia's Prismatic Sky Pearls and Gold Foil Pearls. I'm adding those in and around, and I think it turned out beautiful. I think the addition of gold is really stunning, and then these blue just match that blue background. And look at how pretty that is, and that word friend just pops up. I just love cards like this that bring, it's just all cohesive. It looks like one image except for you have this 3D part. I just think it is absolutely stunning. This beautiful flower stamp set is so pretty, and it's a large size, so it can just take up a ton of space on your card. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by. I hope that you enjoyed this project and I hope that you feel inspired. If you like what you've seen, please thumbs up, subscribe, share, comment. Definitely go to Kraftgali's YouTube channel and subscribe there. Thank you again for all of your support. I do have some affiliate links below. It costs you guys nothing, but it does continue to help me. So thank you so very much. And I will see you guys back here soon. Bye.